G'day Doggies fans. So it's been a while since I've done a movie. About a week since I've done a video. I've been away. So I just want to thank all the subscribers to the channel so far. It's going really well. I've got about 17,000 views. And it just keeps going up and up every day, which I'm really glad to see because there's some posts on there which relate to a lot of the stuff on the media and media lies and exaggerations and that sort of stuff, where it's good to get that out there so people aren't as fired up from some of the stuff that comes from the media, which causes fans a bit of angst and that sort of stuff. So that's what I'm trying to sort of balance out. But we've got our team in. I am surprised that Tevita Pangai Jr. is back. I was predicting that they would bring in Jaden Tanner onto the bench. But there's a few changes there. So we've got Braden Burns into the centres. I think it's a good move. He looked pretty good in his first game back in defence. He was hitting hard. He's obviously done the work while he couldn't run. And he's playing his old side, so it's a no-brainer that he's joining the centres. Declan Casey misses out. Unfortunate for him. But he'll get another crack, I'm sure, at some point. Braden Burns is a pretty experienced player, and it's a no-brainer for this side. With Tevita coming into the side, they've got Waddell and Jackson named in the second row. They've put Raymond Fatala-Mariner back to the bench. With Curtis Moran, Joe Stimson and Zach Docker-Clay. So, looking at the extended bench though, because I still think there's a chance Tevita may not play. Chris Patalo named in jumper number 23. I think he'll be the man to come in if Tevita doesn't play, just purely because of his size. Jackson Tapine's also named there, which is really good. Personally, I'd be bringing Jackson into the side, Jackson Tapine, but it's not looking the best for him as far as the contract's concerned. But I don't know. They've named 23 players or 24 players on the site of all our re-signings for 23, but they said that they've only got 5 spots left, so they must have 1 or 2 that they already know about. So there's 8 players additional off contract. Wakeham won't be coming into the team, I don't think. I think he's done as a Bulldog, even though he's a Bulldogs junior and he loves the Dogs a lot. He might be a player that plays for Mounties or goes on a train and trial contract or something like that. Bailey Biondioto's there as a backup. So if Burton doesn't play, they've got the option of bringing Bailey straight in to the halves if Burton doesn't back up after Wednesday. And then you've got the likes of, they could bring Zach Docker-Clay off the bench into 5'8", bring Tapine onto the bench, or Bailey onto the bench. But the fact that Bailey's been playing halfback and playing 80 minutes in reserve grade, it's natural to think that you would bring him into the side if Burton doesn't play, and he would start because he's got fitness on his side. Right, so that's the team. I think it's a good side. I think it can do a lot of damage. I think we're down a couple of big players. Now, Luke Thompson, he was never going to be made available for this game. He's back in Australia. I've heard a lot of rumours about Luke, as we all have. A lot of people are just assuming that he won't be playing with us next year. I'm just going to say now that in my gut I think he will, for the pure fact that who's going to pay 850 grand for Luke Thompson other than us next year? I don't know a side in the universe that wants to pay that. There might be teams that really want a prop in a front row and are willing to pay $500,000. And in that case, we would have to pay some of his salary for 12 months. If that's the case, I wouldn't mind that because that enables us to get Raymond Fatala-Mariner. We could potentially upgrade Burton a little bit for next year as well. And then and look to upgrade his deal for 2024. or start a new deal. I don't think they will upgrade though. Just my thoughts. But it enables us to get Raymond Faitala-Mariner. I will hope that we keep Matt Doorey. I think he's a real talent, former junior Kangaroo. He's really bulked up top with that ACL injury. Looks like he's done a mountain of work in the gym. Maybe a move to the middle of the park for him in order to give him more flexibility, because we do lack a few big forwards. We've got some young fellas coming through. I thought Makatoa might be a chance of getting a run soon. The big fella. He's been playing really well in reserve grade all season. And then you've got young Sam Hughes is coming through. I think he came over from Parramatta. And then you've got there's players like Reece Hoffman. Hoffman's not too bad of a player. I just don't think I think Tapani's better than him. And so is Doorey, in my opinion. But they're different types of players. Hoffman's more of a centre who's playing in the back row to help out, I think. But good talented junior, and what people got to understand is a lot of these signings that come to the Dogs didn't just come to play under Trent Barrett or whatever. They came because most of them were seeking an opportunity. There wasn't really multiple clubs vying for their signatures at the time. Even Burton was a bit of a blindside on Penrith. They probably didn't think anyone was going to offer him $500,000 over 3 years. Like 1.5 or 1.6 million over 3 years. So, we paid money for potential for that guy before his time. Kalen Ponga was one that Newcastle did the same thing. And the Cowboys with Jonathan Thurston paid him a bit more than what anyone was willing to offer to get him up there, and the rest is history. So the last thing I want to talk about is NRL 360 with Redcliffe. I just want to let everyone know Redcliffe are in a great position. They've got an established base. They've got one of the biggest nurseries in the competition. They've already got a fan base that's massive. They don't need help. And why should they get help? They should be struggling to make the finals. They should be struggling to get out of the bottom four. They should be close to being a wooden spooner side. They're starting from scratch as far as assembling a team together. Their salary cap's the same size as everyone else's. They've got a great forward pack. A forward pack that's experienced and done a lot in the game. They've signed Jeremy Marshall-King. Now, I know he's not everyone's cup of tea, but he's improved every game he's ever played and every season. And now 4 years in as a hooker, he is going to be a really astute signing for them. He's not Reid Marnie, no. But he might be one day. Statistically and defensively, he's a very good player, and that's what Bennett's signed. They have a junior base to die for. It's a much bigger base than what the Bulldogs have got. And those players are going to develop. So, there's going to be a good rivalry with the Broncos. And whether they're coming last or coming fourth last or 10th on the ladder, their fans are going to back them. This won't be a side that struggles to stay in the competition. It's rugby league heartland. It's an expanding area. There's no dire consequences of not signing, Reece Walsh or Kalen Ponga. If anything, I think it strengthens them, the fact that they don't have to pay so much for these players. Obviously, they want to get a big signing soon. They've also signed Jaden Nikorima, which isn't listed on the on what I've got on the footage here towards the end of the video that you've seen. But yeah, there's no panic stations for Redcliffe. Just more NRL 360 trying to make out like there's something wrong with the game because the NRL didn't do enough for this side and that we can't have another bottom four team. What a load of crap. And another thing I noticed, on on the channel. It's been growing great. Getting a few Roosters fans on there. Arrogant pricks. They get on there and, you know, it's all banter, but they literally think it's okay to, you know, they're so disrespectful to their own players, like Luke Keary, a grand final winner. You know, they can't wait to kick him out of their team so they can get a Matt Burton or a bloody Cameron Munster. Stupid idiots. So arrogant. They just think, oh yeah, we just make it this move. You know, they got to keep Suwali's got a player option for next year as well, so they need to upgrade him. They need to upgrade Sam Walker to keep him. You know, they don't have money for Matt Burton. And if they do somehow, honestly, I can't see how they can do it unless they drop Walker or Suwali or Manu or Tedesco and Keary. Anyway, 11 minutes is enough. Go New South Wales and go the Bulldogs on Sunday versus the Rabbits. I'm really glad Tavita's playing. If he's out, I think Patala will come in. Hopefully it's Jackson Tabine. Anyway, that's my